Where do you think Dalvin Cook landed on this list?
I'm going to guess it's the number that he changed his number to.
Okay, yesterday you said you cheated, but I feel like maybe you just got this one right. He was number 3 last year. This year he drops a spot to number 4. Well done. One NFC offensive coach said he needs to stay on the field because the whole team is different when he's in there. He's great. He can be even better with discipline as a runner and growing as a third down receiver. I think he'll show more all-around game in a new offense. Finally, one NFC front office member said, quote, "I love me some Cook. Give me Cook all day. That burst is so impressive." Reggie, we know the knock on Dalvin, and there's really only one at the end of the day. Like the saying goes, your best ability is availability. Cook played 13 games, but despite that, still pumped out the second best yards before contact with 779, and for the third straight year posted over 1,100 rushing yards. Talk to me about just how special this guy is, and if he were to ever stay fully healthy, what could he look like in this new Kevin O'Connell offense?
Look, man, Dalvin Cook is that dude.
He's that dude.
Like, man, I remember watching that game last season against the Steelers, and I thought he was going to run for 500 yards that night.
Video game stuff.
It was just ridiculous. He just has another gear. And it's interesting because I think Alexander Mattison is a fine running back.
Great number 2. Yep.
But when Dalvin is in the game, it's just different, man. Like, it's just different. The NFC scout said, love him some Dalvin, that burst. That's exactly it. It seems like he never falls backwards. He always goes forward. He always makes a guy miss. Like, you put him in a vacuum and he's always going to get himself out of it. I just really enjoy watching him run. Like, he's smooth, like he runs like a Cadillac, you know, like an old school Cadillac, like the dudes that are sitting back, just just whipping it. Like, that's Dalvin, man. Like, he's just rolling. Like, you give him the ball and he's just rolling. And it's interesting because, like, he has missed games, but he's just so tough. Like, his toughness is one of the biggest, like, factors in his game. And I think it just speaks to his talent level that he's not played a full NFL season, but he's still rushing for 1,000+ yards every season. Like, the dude is him. Like, and I think because of his missed time these past several seasons, I think sometimes maybe he doesn't get the respect of other people in the league, but obviously he's on the radar of somebody if he's making number 4 on this list. And, look, this year we've seen probably the most Byron Buxton that we've seen.
Ooh, a little theme going on here.
Maybe this is the year of the oft-injured guys being oft-available. How about that?
Maybe something in the water here in Minnesota going on here.
I mean,
all the way back to his rookie year, 2017, boy, did he flash in those first 4 games. 3.5 games, tears his ACL against the Bucs week 4. Here's the rest. 10 games started in 2018, 14 and 14 and 19 and 20, and then 13 games, as we said, last year. So he averages about 11 games per year, about 2/3. And you're right, people just want to see what a full season of healthy Dalvin Cook, 16, 17 games, would look like. And you look at the Rams, what they did last year in the rushing department, you try to get an understanding of what this year will look like for the Vikings, right? And they were about middle of the pack in most categories. Keep in mind now, this is with Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson, but 1,600 plus rushing yards, only 10 rushing TDs in that offense, and average 4 yards per carry on 420 carries. Now, that's a Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell offense, something that looks and feels much different than a Mike Zimmer-led Viking attack fans are used to seeing. Just last year, even as they started to air it out more, Vikings still beat the Rams in those categories. 449 carries, almost 2,000 rushing yards, and average 4.3 yards per carry as well. So things look a little different when you got a guy like Dalvin in the game plan, and we know Zimmer always wanted to set the tone, running the ball, being conservative, don't turn the ball over, playing good defense, but it's going to be interesting to see now under O'Connell O'Connell, how Cook is used, and just how they find a balance of making sure he's getting touches, but also sticking to their philosophy of passing first to set up the run. And I think the truth is we just don't know yet. But if I were to guess, I'd say this is still going to be a pass-happy system first and foremost, and they still find ways to get Cook his 20 touches, albeit in different ways, maybe like the passing game, etc. How about the backfield as a whole? I mean, this is a pretty stacked unit top to bottom with Cook, Madison, Kene Nwangu, and now the rookie Ty Chandler. We know Madison is on his final year of the deal, and Nwangu really flashed last year. What do you think the best case scenario is, and how they use all these different skill sets and maximize the potential as far as like a rotation goes?
I think a rotation would be the best case scenario in keeping Cook fresh for longer and maybe seeing him play all 17 games this upcoming season. You know, I think what's cool is, you know, when Dalvin needs a breather, you got a guy that can come in and still kind of beat you. And then, you know, on third downs, I think you can employ Dalvin, but to have the luxury of Kene Nwangu, like, I think that would be a best case scenario as well, that you can kind of get him involved as a third down back. I think they have a really good running back room, and I'm excited to see how Kevin O'Connell decides to use all these guys, because I do think that they all bring something different to the table, and I do think that they all bring something that can help